All right, everybody. We want to welcome you to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic and stuff like that. Also, this is your Money in the Bank 2016 review. As you can see below us, we are the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast. So, duh, right? Duh. Anyway, I don't know why I closed my eyes for that long, but that's okay. I'm gonna give Casey the pre-show because I missed all of the matches but
He
the
ain't
last
watched
one.
it. He ain't even watched it.
Why would I? I mean, like, you said it yourself that you really don't need to watch the pre-show. You've even said it yourself that the pre-show is really like not that great. And you also said it yourself, like, and I'll be honest, I think I deserve a pass, considering the only match I caught was the Dudleys. I'm just saying. But I'm gonna give you the pre-show matches. Quit complaining and be lucky you even got a match on my show. On my show. This is my show. See, I sound like the heel champion now. This is my show. This is the DJ BO show. This is no longer the instant classic wrestling stuff. This is my show.
I mean, that's funny because it still says Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast.
They can't read that. They don't see it.
And then it say follow us. It say that DJ guy, but it also says me. Yeah, that's that. It doesn't say Case E though, which is I must have messed that up when I made it. But anyway, we getting into the show that is the pre-show, which they made me angry right from the beginning, right from the start. They was like, nope, you're going to be angry for half of this show because we're going to screw stuff up. I'm not even going to go into really the Golden Truth versus Breezango. All I'm going to say is WWE is basically telling us that the Golden Truth is so bad that Breezango needs to have severe sunburns in order for the Golden Truth to get a win over them. Really? This, I get that the Golden Truth is supposed to be a comedy team and, people aren't really supposed to take them seriously, but these guys are really good wrestlers. I mean, the Gold Dust is a comedy gimmick. I get it. But Dustin Rhodes is a good wrestler. R-Truth is a good wrestler. We've never really seen it in WWE, unfortunately. We had to wait until he was in TNA for a while to actually see some good matches from him. But really, that's just, I don't know. I mean, I felt like I was actually kind of looking forward to this match a little bit because I felt like it could have been a good match. But the way they book this, WWE is, these are teams that you employ and you're booking them like this. How is that good booking? How is this supposed to get your company money? It just, I don't know. I thought this was a pointless match. It wasn't a bad match. It was just, I didn't think they needed the whole sunburn storyline thing because it was stupid. But then during the pre-show, Booker, in his infinite knowledge, said that Sami Zayn has no idea the pain he is going to endure in a ladder match because, Sami Zayn's never been in a ladder match before, ever. Funny side note, have you ever seen Ladder Wars? Just throwing that out there as a little tidbit. And I think he was.
Count.
It totally counts. It counts. And he was in a ladder match a while back. He was in a ladder match. It was anyway.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, that one. He was in that ladder match too, Booker. Come on now. But I don't know. And then we had the Lucha Dragons versus the Dudleys, which was a good match again, but I don't understand why. I know we've talked about how you don't necessarily need a title on the line or you don't need really a storyline for all matches. You can have just a good match, but I feel like on a pay-per-view, you need storylines and you need something backing your matches up. And I felt like there wasn't really anything backing this feud up. I don't. There was nothing. I felt like neither team really got anything out of it. I know, obviously WWE is going for this, new generation, old generation thing where all of the kind of veterans are having matches with the new generation. But still, I felt like there was nothing to this match. There was no point to it. I felt like it didn't really start anything. It didn't end anything. It just didn't really do anything. So I feel like they could have, both of these matches, they could have either made them better and made them, worth watching, or eliminated them and added more time to other matches. That's just my opinion on it.
See, I actually thought there were more matches on the pre-show. I thought I missed like half the show by missing the pre-show tonight. But there were only 2 tonight?
Yeah, there was only 2 on the pre-show.
Because before they were promoting like 4. I think we talked about doing the predictions. They were promoting like they had like 4 pre-show matches, and I'm like, they can barely fit 1. Why would they have?
No, only 2.
All right. But from what I saw of the Dudley Boys, Lucha Dragons match, it wasn't a bad match. I just feel like there really wasn't anything to it for me, and that was kind of my issue throughout this whole show. I know I said that this show had the potential of being show of the year. I lied. Well, okay, I didn't lie. It had the potential. It just wasn't there for me. In my personal opinion, I'm not sure what you think of my now probably frowned upon statement, but I just did not like this pay-per-view. There were some matches that I liked, but there were some matches I just could not get behind. I don't know if it was because they were thrown together, because there really wasn't anything to them. I'll just give you a couple of examples, just in case. Let's see. Ziggler and Baron Corbin, obviously. Sheamus and Apollo Crews to a certain degree. I liked the match once it got going, but it wasn't built up for me enough. Like, it's not like they didn't have time. They showed the footage from last month when Sheamus beat him up, and then they were like, let's throw this away until a week before the pay-per-view. So they could have built this up a lot more. They have plenty of time on Raw, so it's not like they don't have time to build this stuff up. When you look at a match, let's see. Actually, the back end of the card wasn't terrible. Natalya and Becky Lynch versus Dana Brooke and Charlotte. I love the people in the match, but I just can't get behind it. I've seen too much of Natalya the same way for me to really get behind it. Now they did change her a little bit tonight, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but I just couldn't, even the change I couldn't get behind. But any like premier thoughts before we jump to the tag team title match?
Yeah, that was kind of the thing with me in this match, or in this show. Like, I didn't think it was a bad show. It was just, I felt like I built it up in my head before the show more than what I feel like I got out of it. Even to an extent with the Money in the Bank ladder match, it was good, but I felt like, I don't know, something was missing from it. But yeah, the Ziggler Corbin, oh God, why? I don't understand. The fans weren't into it. There was a boring chant. Me, DJ, and Amy and Miley were all Snapchatting through it, talking about how, it should have been ended 5 minutes before it did. Then you could have added more to other matches, added more time to other matches. Even Dolph Ziggler at a point looked like he was like, why is this match still going on? Like, I'm not even kidding. There was a couple points where he was like, dude, why are we still doing this? The Divas women's sorry, it was a thing. I'm sorry. Women's tag team match. I remember I think I sent DJ this snap too, but I was like, you see that pretty title belt? thank God they're not putting that on the line, because why would we want to see that? Why would we want to see a title match? Because that would be horrible. I just felt like I feel like they're going nowhere with this storyline with them. There's no point to it. And there was other. The Apollo Crews match wasn't bad. It just, like you said, it felt like it took a while to really build up. And even tonight, like, the storyline wasn't built up enough. Except, Sheamus is a veteran and Apollo Crews is a rookie, and that is why they're having a match, because WWE logic. Yeah, let's go with that. I feel like that's what WWE Creative just did. They were like, yeah, it makes sense. Sure, just throw them out there. And then people are probably going to hate me for this, but the Titus O'Neal Rusev match, it wasn't a bad match. I still felt like it was weird and random and out of nowhere. Like, why all of a sudden? Like, I get that they're trying to, we know we suspended him, let's make the fans happy, but it has to make sense. It didn't make sense that, after years, out of nowhere, you're giving him a title shot. There was no build up to it. It didn't feel like. The match wasn't bad. I thought the match was pretty good. I'll get to what happened after the match when we talk about it. But yeah, the whole show, I felt like it was good. It just wasn't as good as I was expecting it to be. Until the back end of the show obviously got really good, but it was all right.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into it. We started off with the tag team titles on the line, a fatal four-way tag team match, which I was really excited for. Enzo and Big Cass versus the Club versus the VaudeVillians, who I actually forgot were in this match, versus the New Day. I don't know why. I just thought there was some other random another tag team in there, not the VaudeVillians. I don't know why. But I really did like this match, though. It was an excellent way to start the show, and starting the show with the Enzo and Cass promo is not necessarily a bad thing either. The dueling move spot by Enzo and Kofi was really cool. And it was cool because, like, we've been waiting for the New Day versus Enzo and Cass, by themselves, and then when everything started to break down there near the beginning, the New Day and Enzo and Cass were the ones left in the ring. I thought that was really good. Solid booking there. When Big E fell over that top freaking rope, that was hilarious. I don't know why, it just was. It felt like freaking Ryback just, fell. Like when he used to fall off the turnbuckle. I don't know why. It felt kind of weird when he just, like, the way he fell. It was just so much humanity just flying out the ring. I don't know what happened with that Trouble in Paradise spot, but Kofi made a great adjustment with it. I really like that he adjusted well to that. And then near the end, when Anderson hit the blind tag and catches Big E with the jumping knee, and then they hit the Magic Killer for what seemed to be a near fall, but Big E picks him up to the big ending. I thought that was cool. I don't know what I got really confused. I think I looked away for a second, and Big Cass was in the ring taking out Gallows, and because you could tell it was one of those moments where, like, it's not like, I don't know if the timing was off or something, but, like, Big E was ready to finish off. Who did he have? Anderson, I think was who it was. He had Anderson. He was ready to finish him off, and Big Cass comes in, kind of like he was gonna break it up, but then he kicks Gallows, which is fine, but I think he, like, fell out of the ring or something, and then the New Day end up winning, and I was like, wasn't Big Cass just in the ring, like, ready to break that up? I don't know if I was mistaken there, or if, like, something happened in my mind and I didn't see it right, but that was just weird to me. But the New Day are still the champions. I'm wondering how long they're gonna keep it. Just because I think this is the weird portion for me, and I sent a Snapchat to Casey when I was after this match. I was like, we're at that weird point where I'm fine with the New Day being the champions and even losing the champions and getting them back later, but I'm in this dilemma where I want to see Enzo and Cass get them, but I also want to see the club get them, right? I'm in this dilemma where I want to see both of those teams get them. Now, if WWE would have been smart and been able to book in advance, which they don't do, it would have been great to give Enzo and Cass the titles around the WrestleMania area instead of waiting till after WrestleMania and then the injury happened, because you never know, the injury might not have even ever happened in that regard. But I don't know. I just thought it was weird that tonight I just felt like this match was good because it felt like every single team had a chance to win. Even the VaudeVillians at one point hit the Whirling Dervish and almost won. But I felt like too there's so many teams I want to see win the titles now. And I just don't know who anymore. Like before, it was like Enzo and Cass, Enzo and Cass, Enzo and Cass, and then I saw the club tonight, and I was like, the club, Enzo and Cass. Oh God, the VaudeVillains. Oh man, I was so confused on who to actually root for, but I enjoyed the match nonetheless. I thought it was a good match. I expected it to be a good match. I'm just wondering, is it gonna be the club or Enzo and Cass? Because I know it's coming, but I don't know when. Any thoughts on the tag team title match?
I thought it was a great match. There were a couple other weird points in the match that I caught. There was a point where, like you were saying, Big E breaks up the pin, and he has Anderson on his shoulder, and Gallows is just standing there. I'm like, bro, you're just gonna let your boy just be taken. Like, you're not gonna do anything. It just was weird. I don't know if it was a timing thing where Anderson was supposed to be, or Gallows was supposed to be knocked out of the ring or out of the ring. And he just didn't get to that point, but it was just weird that he was just standing there. And I'm like, okay. And then also, Amy picked up on this. The legal man was not pinned. So if you go back and you watch the match, the legal man was not pinned. So technically, this match is still going on. I love how
24/7 tag team rules. We need it.
I love how WWE doesn't pay attention to this, and it happens a lot in especially in triple threat tag team matches or fatal 4-way tag team matches. If you pay attention, there's a lot of tags that either are made and then forgotten about, or I don't know. I just think it's not fair to, not necessarily to the talent, because they know it's predetermined, blah blah blah. But if you were a big fan of like the VaudeVillains and you wanted them to win or something, or Enzo and Cass, and the legal man was not pinned, but the match ended with a pinfall, you would be upset. I mean, I'm upset, but I am kind of getting. I love the New Day. They've grown on me, but I am getting sick of them as the tag team champions, and I think it's just because the same reason as DJ. I want to see all these other teams win the tag team titles, and that was also my issue tonight, because I was like, well, obviously I want Cass and Enzo to win the titles, but then there's Anderson and Gallows. I like that. Oh, but then I was talking about a couple weeks ago about how the VaudeVillains would actually make the titles look good, and it would fit them. So I was I was excited for a new tag team champions, and I was kind of let down that. I mean, I know WWE likes to break these records and set records and tie records. You don't always need to do that. Like, there's a point where it kind of gets stale, I feel like.
I think it's always one of those things too, where they always tend to do it when someone leaves the company who held the record before. Now this is a little bit different with Paul London and Brian Kendrick, but usually that's around about the time they do it. Like they did it with AJ Lee. They did it with was it Charlotte when no, Nikki Bella. They did it with Nikki Bella when AJ Lee left. They did it with freaking who was the long champion after CM Punk left? Whoever that was. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm sure Justin would be able to tell me, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But I definitely agree. I think it does get stale sometimes. I, I don't know. I'm and now I'm just confused on who I want to win the titles because I would love to see the VaudeVillians get it. But also there's Enzo and Cass, and I feel like Enzo and Cass are one of those teams where if they don't get the title soon, it's gonna burn out on us. Um, kind of how I was talking about how I was feeling with like Ambrose, and we'll get to that later. Ambrose and feeling with especially Ziggler now. You know, like as much as I loved Ziggler when he first came in, you know, shaking people's hands, talking about how he's Dolph Ziggler. Like there's only so much losing a fan can take, I guess. And I know it's predetermined, but you do have this kind of this big like allegiance with some guys. But I guess we can jump into the next match. Speaking of Ziggler, Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin. Now, I'll tell you, I actually, the feud makes no sense to me. I really think it should have been a kick to the ding ding match, and whoever kicks the first one in the ding ding, they win. But they didn't go with my idea. And I really did. I thought they were really trying. I did. Um, I thought they were really trying in this match. They were really trying hard to me. They looked like they were. They had false finishes and pretty good ones at that. I feel like this match was really good. I just feel like you couldn't get behind it because of the feud, and you feel like the feud should be over by now, and you feel like the match isn't as good because the feud isn't as great as it could be. Because like I feel like even if you put AJ Styles and John Cena in the ring together and hope they're gonna put on a good match, if you don't put a storyline behind it, that's kind of what, especially WWE fans, and especially with what we become accustomed to in WWE, that's what we kind of gravitate towards to the most when we watch WWE is that storyline, along with the match, but to that storyline. But I thought they were actually kind of really trying. It was funny. They did get a boring chant. But what was really funny to me is there was a guy with a Dolph Ziggler shirt that walked out during this match. Now, if that doesn't sum up this feud, I don't know what does. Baron Corbin does end up winning for the end of days. I mean, I thought some of the transitions in this match were actually pretty good, especially transitions into finishers and whatnot. I don't think we got one zigzag, which was weird, or one attempted zigzag, which was weird. Come to think of it, but I thought the match was better than I think other people think, but I just want to see something different. With Ziggler, I would anything. Freaking put the man in a tag team. Give him something useful to do. And no, don't put him in the Golden Troop. And with Corbin, I kind of want him to go after a title, just because I feel like that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal trophy is cool and all, and they mention it all the time. Finally, but I feel like if he's not winning titles off of it, it's not gonna help him. And I think they need to he needs to win a title, and they need to be like he also won the like he needs to win a title like this year. I don't care if it's even the tag team titles. He needs to win a title within the next year, as far as before WrestleMania, so they can talk about that even at WrestleMania because they like to do that. They like to say, "Oh, last year, he was the Honor Memorial Battle Royal winner, and this year, I tell you, how to come." But I actually I enjoyed the match. I thought they were really trying, but I think the feud is what really throws it off. But Casey, thoughts?
Yeah. I first off, I agree that they need to do something different with these guys. It's surprising that they haven't in all the time that Ziggler's been in the company. It feels like he hasn't really been in a tag team. I mean, he was in the stable with AJ Lee and Big E, but that wasn't.
They should have just put him in there, and they should have called him Big Z. I'm telling you, it would have been perfect.
But yeah, this this wasn't a horrible. It was okay. I'm not even gonna lie. This match sucked. But it was because of the storyline. I was joking that there's 6 people that still care about the storyline, and Baron Corbin and Ziggler aren't in that list. But yeah, it's to the point where what's the point? This feud has been going on for like 2-3 months. It's going nowhere. the Ziggler fans are walking out on the match, which never happens. But yeah, I mean, they were still trying. Definitely, they were trying to put on a great match, and that's something that Ziggler. I will give Ziggler credit. I mean, you could put him in a match with a stick, and he would give amazing bumps, and try to put on the best match he could. He's just that kind of wrestler, and that gives him credit, and that also goes against him. We've talked about that. How he oversells and things like that. But I mean, this storyline should have ended.
Think about it. WWE does have people no selling like crazy, like all the time. Like I think WWE like teaches their people to no sell at this point.
Well, they have two classes, and they give you the option in the Performance Center to take either class. It's either the no sell class or the oversell class. They don't have a middle one. They just have those two classes. So, Ziggler, he liked the oversell class. Cena, we know what class he's in. Although he sold a little bit tonight. We'll get into that match in a little bit. Yeah, this was pointless. I don't know. This feud should have been ended like 2-3 months ago. There was no point to it at the end. They need to do something else with these guys. I get that in the beginning they were putting, Corbin in, a feud with Ziggler because Ziggler can, get guys over and things like that. But there's other guys that they could now put Ziggler in feuds with and, try to get them over. I don't know.
Alrighty. Next we have Natalya and Becky Lynch versus Dana Brooke and Charlotte. And yes, I have officially fallen in love with Becky Lynch. I don't know what it was. I know what it was. I looked into her eyes. That's what it was. It was at a live show. Like I was just like, I love her. I don't know why. I mean, I've always
in like the
really
20th row, so she didn't even see him. Just throwing it out there.
Probably. She didn't even notice me. But I don't know. This match just wasn't doing it for me. Because again, let's just throw stuff together and hope the fans get behind it. Or let's just throw stuff together and let's just see how the fans take it. I don't like this. I was excited to see Becky Lynch because finally, because she's been on the back burner so much. But I'm going to feel really bad when they put her around this title to just have Sasha come in and end up probably taking it. Don't get me wrong, I love Sasha, but don't tease Becky Lynch, to everyone like, oh, she's gonna be around the title and whatnot, and then they didn't do that after the match. But yeah, Charlotte and Dana end up winning, and I guess the frustration got the best of Natalya. She ends up kind of turning heel on Becky Lynch, and I was like, I want to be excited about this, I really do. But then I realized I am watching WWE programming, which I love. Don't get me wrong, I do. But they ain't done nothing with Natty since she been in the freaking WWE. Don't you dare try to sell me on the fact that she's gonna turn heel and they're gonna actually do something. What's gonna happen is she's gonna turn heel. Everybody's gonna get like, oh my goodness, she turned heel. What? Like the Dudleys that time, right? And then they're gonna forget about it, like they did with the Dudleys. But I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. In my personal opinion, I want to see something more than this. These random tag team matches that they just throw together because they don't feel like defending the title that night. Why? Why? I mean, I could understand it. Like if it was like there was no stipulation around the title or anything, and the champion's in the match. Like if you pin the champion, then you get a title shot. At least then there's some merit to this match. Without that, there's nothing to this match. And it was thrown together a week ago on Raw. I watched it. I don't know. I don't understand why they can't build this stuff. They have tons of writers who are professional writers, and they cannot they have to throw something together at the last minute. Like I'm sure they probably have enough writers to write for each one to write for every feud / every division. And I don't know. I'm so tired of stuff being thrown together at the last minute. Um, like like I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't care who it is. WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, which Ring of Honor does a pretty good job of not doing that. But still. I mean, and then if they do like put something on the pay per view that you're not expecting, at least then it's like a respect feud or something. Like there's something behind it. But anyway, Natty turned heel and stuff. But Casey, thoughts?
So let me get this straight. This is still Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin for the WWE Tag Team Champion. I just, if I come into this video partway through, I don't want to be confused. But yeah, I'm going to throw this idea for WWE. And they could take this. Well, they can't now because it's too late. This is how I would have, after the last pay-per-view, I would have started, building up Becky and maybe have her win the title tonight. Maybe have you're trying to build up, or you were trying to build up this women's revolution, and then you're not even having the title, defended on all the pay-per-views, which it should be. I would have had them have Becky win the title tonight, and then Charlotte could win it back at Battleground, and then Sasha could win it at SummerSlam. That way, Becky still gets a chance at the title, but they obviously don't want to have her at SummerSlam as the champion. They want Charlotte, but
I don't know. I was like, I felt kind of weird about this whole like women's revolution thing, because I know I've heard Amy talk about it, how like the street finishes doesn't change anything. And now after I thought about it and seen it play out, I definitely agree. If they were gonna put the title on Charlotte, that's fine. But they should have brought her as a face or even as a heel, but not win as dirty as she has. I don't know. I don't understand why is this match on the card?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't do anything for any of these ladies. And I know I say it all the time. This is not hate. This is just the fact of life. Dana Brooke sucked in this match, but Charlotte in red is a nice change. I was digging it. But yeah, I don't know why they booked this match.
Alrighty. Next we got Sheamus versus Apollo Crews. Another match I wish they would have just built up a little more, and I could have got behind it because I do like Sheamus. I do. I like the Celtic Warrior thing that he's going with now. I do like it. I like it, and if they would do something with it, I could get behind a little bit more, but they won't. I get it. They're trying to go with the whole like Sheamus is like losing himself and losing his luster or whatever. But I thought this match started out slow and started out really boring to me. But once it got going, especially once Apollo really got going, I felt like I really actually started to enjoy this match. Once they started doing more stuff from the top rope, and because I think Sheamus is such a bruiser that sometimes he can come off a little bit boring just because of the way he wrestles. Just because you're just not used to seeing it as much anymore. But I definitely liked it once Apollo got going and got a chance to get some moves in, because Sheamus started to have to he had to pick up his game to keep up with Apollo, which I really liked. But yeah, Crews ends up winning, by the skin of his teeth, was kind of like a leverage pin type style pin. I guess they're keeping this going, which is fine if they're going to build it up, but if they're not, I don't care about it. I like Apollo Crews, and I'm hoping this gets him on TV some more, because he had a nice debut. I was excited about that, and then they just kind of threw him away for a little bit, and then randomly he was able, to get a chance to qualify for the Money in the Bank contract, I think was what it was, and he lost that match. So I don't know what they're doing with Apollo Crews either. I'm not saying either like have him go after a title or anything, but they need to have something to do with these call-ups because there's going to be a lot of them when SmackDown goes live. So they need to know what to do with them because if they don't, why are you taking SmackDown Live and doing a brand split for the same thing to happen over and over and over and over and over again? But I mean, once the match got going, I kind of liked it. Apollo Crews did get the win. Any thoughts, Casey?
It was okay when it finally got going. I thought the ending was horrible booking. I get that they're trying to book, it with Sheamus kind of as he again. We're still talking about the Divas, the women's tag team.
I'm the worst. I know. Obviously. Why don't you shut your mouth?
You're horrible. But I mean, at least,
I know.
There is an Irish person in that picture, so it's kind of okay. It's kind of okay.
It kind of works.
I get that they're trying to book, Sheamus, like how he's losing his luster, he's losing it, he can't, blah blah blah. But then you book the ending where Apollo Crews just barely gets the win and has to do a backslide roll up. How does that? That's horrible booking to me. That makes Apollo Crews look weak when you're trying to make Sheamus look weak, like he's losing it. I don't know. That's how I saw it. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way, but I felt like they should have had Apollo Crews, win decisively, and then have Sheamus still go crazy and I can beat you, blah blah blah. I'm gonna take all of you new guys down, and then build the feud that way. This just makes it confusing.
Yeah. Do you think they did this to try to build a feud? Was that like the goal? Because I even feel like they could have let him win, let him win clean, and then Sheamus kind of come to and like attack him or something, and that would have kept it going because obviously you wouldn't end it on an attack like that.
Yeah, I just feel like they made it confusing because it looks like they're trying to make both guys look weak now, and you can't do that. But I mean, if they build it up right, I'd be fine with this feud. It's just it feels like it was thrown together, and there's they just need more build up to it. And it's still for the tag team championships. So all these matches are going to be for the tag team championships.
That's because if I take that graphic off, I don't have anything else behind it but the U.S. title graphic. So either way, it's going to be for one of those titles. I'm bringing importance back to the divisions, Casey. I know what I'm doing. I am a booker now.
Maybe you should have thought of that and put something else there. I'm just saying.
Coming from the guy who, number one, was delayed. So he came to the review late, which y'all didn't see that. I saw that. Joins my call late. And then complains when he did none of this. None. See, this ain't really helping my cause. None of this down there. You see all that. Anyway, whatever. I quit. I'm done now. We gotta talk about AJ Styles versus John Cena before I give my job to Justin. I thought this match was pretty good. And I feel bad because I haven't given you a match yet, so I'm gonna give you this one.
This is a legitimate Cena rant. Okay, this isn't just I hate him, blah blah blah. I was really, really looking forward to this match. This wasn't a dream match to me. Like they're trying to build this up. I don't really think anyone really thinks.
Tell me you didn't like fall asleep last night and dream about this match? Come on.
No, I didn't. I didn't. But It started with the second or third lockup. John Cena has been in the WWE for 15 years. This man has not learned in 15 years how to call moves in a match and not make it incredibly clear. Like, I could hear almost every single call he made in this match as clear as me and DJ are talking right now. Like, it's so bad. I don't understand how he is the top guy and how Vince likes him so much when he can't even, you're supposed to, in this match, yes, you call moves and things like that, unless you're the kind of guy who, calls the match before and you just plan everything out. But you're supposed to be able to communicate with your opponent, with the ref, whatever, without, the fans knowing, without the cameras knowing, without all that. When you can hear everything that the guy's saying, it ruins the show. It doesn't, it's supposed to, kind of suspend your disbelief, whatever. It doesn't do that. Like, it ruins the whole show. And that's kind of what killed this match for me. I was really excited, but when I can hear, drop down, leapfrog, okay, got it. That is exactly, for the first lockup that I heard, exactly what John Cena said. And then there was another where AJ was on the turnbuckle, and he said something about him going out to the apron. I shouldn't be able to hear that. Like, I get, there's occasional matches where you can hear it, especially if it's, smaller matches. Like, occasionally you can hear it in indie shows and things like that. But for WWE, you shouldn't, they should be good enough where you don't, hear what they're saying, or not as clearly, especially for your top guy. But anyway, back to this match, the actual match, I thought was really good. I really thought this was a good match for AJ. And Cena actually, other than doing horrible spot calling, I thought he did really good in this match. He actually sold things, which is good. And, obviously the club got involved after the ref died, because you have to have the ref dying spot in all your matches. So, we got to, that's going to probably keep this feud going. You couldn't beat me without the club, blah, blah, blah. So, I don't know. It was a good match. I don't know. I don't know where they're going with this, other than, to have a dream feud. But DJ, what did you think of this match?
Yeah, I could hear it too. I couldn't understand it, but I could tell he was calling spots. And I don't know why. I don't know where this came from with me, but I know when you're calling spots. Even if I can't hear you, I can tell every spot that's being called. I can at least verbally see it. I don't know if that's just me paying more attention to it, or me seeing it one time and then just noticing it now all the time. But yeah, I could definitely hear it. I couldn't understand him. I don't know if I didn't have my TV loud enough, because I was watching the basketball game too. But I don't know. It was loud though. I could tell it was loud. I just couldn't understand what he was saying. Yeah, I think that's weird too. I don't know. It's just weird to me, because it's yeah, if you've been doing this for so long, you should know how to call a spot without, being terribly loud. I don't know. I feel like I could even get it. I could understand if it was if this was if I was there live or whatever. Because I could understand it more coming from the TV than I would it being live, because obviously they have mics every freaking where in that ring. So I get that to a certain degree, but I just feel like you should know what you're doing to us, because you don't hear it from everyone. It just happens to be him. But I don't know. I like the build up of this feud. I like that Styles seemed to have Cena flustered, I guess. I've liked these feuds where the guy comes out, he says he's the best, or he says he can beat you, he says he can sell out whatever, and sell out Tokyo Dome and all this, and then like during the first part of the match, especially because they did this with Punk, I'm pretty sure too. They really have Cena flustered. I for some reason I just like that storytelling aspect. I thought it was really cool throughout this match. Watching AJ just kind of have his number. Even when Cena, just knew what he was gonna, even when Cena, he went for his normal spots. Even if he went for a new spot, it's kind of like AJ knew what he was gonna do, and I like that. I like the transitions from move to move, the reverse into the calf killer, the reverse into the kind of five knuckle shuffle. When Cena was actually selling the leg or whatever, the calf. I did like that. I don't know. To a certain degree, I don't mind the like no sell AA because it's like adrenaline. Oh my god, because then obviously you do stay on the ground for a little bit longer. You don't just like oh my god. Well, sometimes all right. I don't know. I thought the match was good. I enjoyed it. I don't know if it was good as Kevin Owens versus Cena. But I definitely thought, I thought the match was good. My issue actually with this match was the club coming in. Because you could see it from a mile away, right? In my opinion. Um, and I don't know. This just goes to me thinking that WWE can't book a feud in advance. Can't book future feuds in advance. In my opinion, this is my fantasy booking here, I guess. I would have had some sort of cryptic message come up on, and you never, because then that leaves a lot open for future feuds. It could be a Bray Wyatt thing. It it could be a Finn Balor thing. And they can even go both ways with that. I would have left like a cryptic message, having Cena kind of flustered, and then AJ gets the win that way. And then that leaves the fans thinking, well, what was that? And even if you don't have to reveal it at the next, you don't have to reveal it on Raw or SmackDown. You can just kind of leave it alone for a little bit, and then it happens sometimes sporadically again. And they just keep doing it until they finally bring Finn up, because at least you kind of get a taste of what you're going to see, or they do something with Bray. I don't know, whatever they want to do. I just feel like, at least in my opinion, I just feel like they should do something, because me seeing the club come out every single time it just doesn't feel new to me. I personally would rather see some sort of cryptic message be the thing, because then they could go both ways with it. You don't know if it's the club, you don't know if it's Bray. We haven't seen Bray in a while, but we also haven't seen Finn on the main roster, so we don't know which one it is. But that's just my opinion. Any thoughts on that before we get into the Money in the Bank match?
I don't know. I just feel like, and this was probably going to end up happening anyway because it's John Cena. But I feel like with AJ getting the win here, and it's gonna. There's obviously going to be other matches that they're going to have. There's going to be kind of a feud. It's going to end up with the typical John Cena burying AJ Styles, and nobody wants to see that, but it's going to happen. I don't think there's any way where John Cena wins the next match and then AJ wins at SummerSlam. I don't think that's going to happen.
In my opinion, though, I think there's no way John Cena can actually bury AJ Styles. And what I'm saying is, like, Rusev was a new guy, right? He was just from NXT, so you don't know any better. Whereas Bray Wyatt, same thing, same situation. Where AJ Styles, he has that track record, so even if he was to lose to Cena, I don't think it would be like a tear. Like, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be happy about it, but I mean, I want him to at least get one clean win. But I just, in my opinion, I feel like he can't go to the places where they went because they were from NXT and they were new guys. So like, the fans who don't watch NXT, they're just like, oh, they can't beat Cena. So I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess we'll have to see how it pans out.
Alrighty, so let's jump into the Money in the Bank match: Chris Jericho versus Cesaro versus Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens versus Alberto Del Rio versus Dean Ambrose. I'm gonna give you this one too because I know you were probably excited about this one.
It was. And I was watching the match, and I didn't write a lot of notes. But this definitely was a good match. There wasn't as many really super exciting spots, and that's just because we didn't have the Kofi Kingstons in this match, or the high flyers that we expect those kind of crazy moves from. But this was a really good match. The Michinoku driver to Owens by Zayn on the ladder that was sideways opened up. Oh my god. And then when they had the ladder in the middle and then the two ladders kind of bridging from the turnbuckles, I don't know about you guys, but I was waiting for German suplexes onto the ladders. I was waiting for it. I was trying to tell them to do it. They didn't listen to me. That would have been amazing. But it's definitely a good match. There was a lot of, points where I felt like we thought everyone was going to win. There was a point where, you thought Jericho was going to win. There was a point where you thought Del Rio was going to win again. And there, it was to a point where I was like, I felt like in this match the issue with this match was I wouldn't have been upset with anybody winning this match. Like there wasn't one guy where I was like, oh, if this guy wins, I'm going to be really upset. I was at the end of the day, I would have been okay with anybody winning. Not so much Del Rio, just because I don't see, I don't want to see him win the Money in the Bank again. He doesn't really need it at this point in his career. It would have been cool to see Jericho just because, he sort of invented the match and he's never won it before. But I think that kind of builds up that, you can't win your own match kind of a thing, which could, build up storylines in the future too. But then, there's Cesaro, who has a huge fan base that, you kind of would love to see him win. Obviously, I wanted to see my boy Sami Zayn win the briefcase. He almost did. There was a couple points where he almost got it. Kevin Owens, I really thought he was going to win for a minute there. But again, this is still Sheamus versus Apollo Crews that we're talking about. Just so we're clear. But surprising, I was actually really surprised when Dean Ambrose won the Money in the Bank. I just felt like, he was, other than Sami Zayn, he was my pick to win, but I didn't really think that WWE would believe in him enough to actually have him win it. I really thought they were going to go with like Kevin Owens. But I mean, they did have the build up with the Shield and everything. So that kind of, made me think, okay, they might actually, give Dean Ambrose the briefcase. So I was definitely excited when he won. I was wondering when he was going to cash in, but what did you think of the match?
Yeah, I agree. There definitely wasn't those like high flying spots, but there were some cool spots. I definitely felt like those poor men who were in those corners at at certain times, the cannonballs and the hula kicks and all that. My goodness. The backstabber off the ladder was really cool. Cesaro no selling was really cool. The Michinoku driver on the ladder. And then Kevin Owens took another nasty spill when Dean Ambrose actually won. But I don't know. Dean Ambrose was having this effect on me where like I still liked him, but like for some reason it was just getting old that he wasn't winning stuff. And even when he won it, I was still like, did he win it? You know, like because like they've been doing the whole thing for so long where he just hasn't been winning, and I guess as a fan, it's taking a toll on me because I still like Ambrose, but I don't feel like I like him as much as I did. It's not he's not at his peak for me anymore. Just because it took so long for them to actually let him actually win. Um, but I still like him. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for the future. I'll just keep that there until we get to the minute. But I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed the match. Next for the U.S. title, we had Rusev versus Titus O'Neal, and no, I'm just kidding. Rusev versus Titus O'Neal. I just don't know. My issue was again like there wasn't a real legit storyline with this. This was kind of like Titus is here, so you know. Um, I think Titus is still a hard one to get behind too because during his yes.
You ain't gonna change the graphics. I'm just saying.
All right, I'm trying, man. I keep forgetting. See, I'm actually so like because before I was so on my toes with having to actually go back to the folder and get it. I think that's what happened this time. I really do. I think I'm gonna be better next time. I promise. I put up all these graphics myself, and now I'm upset because I keep no. But I don't know. Anyway, U.S. title match. You see it finally. Rusev versus Titus. I don't know. Titus is a hard one to get behind for me because he's always been in his tag team gimmick. At least until he went heel for a little bit. He changed a little bit then. That's when I really liked him. But I don't know. I just don't. I can't get behind Titus. They never really pushed him to me. Um, so it wasn't believable to me that he was going to win the title. And when it's not believable, it doesn't sell. That's kind of one of those things. Like you would rather it be unpredictable, and you not know who's going to win. I feel like, and I feel like to a certain degree things are too predictable at this point. But Rusev won pretty much in kind of dominating fashion. Titus did get his spots in at times. Um, but Rusev was still pretty dominating. He went out to his kids at the beginning. I did like that though, because it kind of took away from the USA versus Russia thing for a little bit, and kind of took it more to a more personal feel instead of a country nationalism type of a feel. So I did like that he kind of he kind of talked to his kids a little bit, kind of messed with Titus a little bit. They started with the double clothesline spot, which was pretty cool. Which and usually don't see the match start out that way. But I'm just hoping they can, because I feel like Rusev is talented to me. I love Rusev. He's my boy. He's on the list. But I do feel like if they don't put Rusev in any nice feuds to validate his U.S. title run, then they're not doing anything for Rusev. He needs to be in some like maybe even former U.S. champions, former Intercontinental champions or something. He needs to be in something that has a storyline outside of the USA versus Russia thing, so they can, experiment with some versatility with Rusev. And he needs to be with someone that's not Titus O'Neal, who we know is not going to win the U.S. title. But I enjoyed the match though. I thought it was a pretty good match. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was it was pretty good. My boy Rusev was in it, so I was enjoying it. At first I thought they canceled this match because for some reason I expected it before it happened on the card, but it was cool that it was kind of the I guess you maybe like co-main event or something. It was kind of the almost main event. I thought that was kind of cool. But any thoughts on Rusev versus Titus O'Neal? And any future, opponents for Rusev?
I thought this was an okay match, but the randomness of it and there was too much wrong with this story, well, lack of storyline, but there was too much wrong with this match for it to be a really good match. Like you said, sort of since his debut, Titus O'Neal has been basically a tag team wrestler, also in sort of a, I don't want to say low card, but like the low mid card. So I just don't see him having a title. Unfortunately, I just can't. It's not believable to me that he would win the title. For one, from Rusev, who is supposed to be this real dominant wrestler. I mean, if it was somebody else, maybe like possibly. If it was still Kalisto as a champion, maybe I could see him winning, but it still wouldn't really make sense unless you build it up. You can't just throw him in a title match and, oh, okay, I think he could win because I don't know. Unfortunately for him, I feel like he's one of those guys who it's not going to be believable if he wins any titles except for the tag team titles. And even then, he's not in a tag team anymore. Darren Young.
But they still have him in the primetime players meet.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know, like trust me, I've said this before, but no one, like, rarely ever has anyone gotten over with a tag team gimmick as a singles guy, like as a big time like champion. No, that's not how that works. Jeff Hardy's the only one I can actually really say.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously he can't go back to his tag team because they're, Darren Young is off doing the make Darren Young great again thing, which
that man ain't even coming soon. Is my issue with that as well. Like I could understand if they had like a date on it or something. They don't. They don't know when he's coming. They don't know when he's gonna be great again. Like he's so far down. They have no idea when Darren Young can be great again. They're like, we don't know, guys.
It's a process. You don't. I mean, it's like, when is Eva Marie ever gonna have a good match? We don't know. We don't know when this is gonna happen. It's just, if it happens, it happens. For her, it probably won't. But you got to build it up. I had to get a jab at Eva Marie. I'm sorry, I had to.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Terrible. But anyway, I'm gonna let you have a crack at the main event. Because if I don't go to the bathroom, it's gonna be troublesome, man. It's gonna be real bad. I don't know why I moved that there. I really don't. Anyway.
Say that you the WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna put it behind me. I'll be right back. I'm gonna take my headset out so I can still hear you. I'm gonna be listening to every breath that you say about this match.
But are you?
Breaths about this match.
But are you though? I don't even think you leaving. I don't think you're just sitting there. You're just sitting there. Trying to tell me you leaving and you ain't even leaving. You just sitting there, all looking. But anyway, we did have the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. The guy versus the unbeaten, undefeated for the title, Seth Rollins, because he never lost it, but he sort of did because he was stripped of it. So that's technically losing it. But anyway, we're not going to get into technicalities with WWE because that would be a losing battle. But I actually thought this was a really good match. That they were intense. You really felt like they hated each other. There was kind of like DJ was saying with the Cena match, it really felt like, they were getting each other, frustrated and flustered, and, like I said, there was really good intensity. It really felt like it could go either way. There was points where Rollins was really in control. There was points where Reigns was really in control. So you kind of, it was, you really believed it could go either way. The first turnbuckle powerbomb spot scared the crap out of me. I was almost looking away because I was waiting, hoping that Rollins' knee didn't give out on him again. I was just and just the way he was, walking on it, I was like, oh man, luckily, everything was fine. I kept waiting for Ambrose music to hit during the match or some sort of a surprise during the match, but that didn't happen. We did. I'm excited. We got a new move in this match. It's called the Spear Degree. It's a mix of the spear into the pedigree. It's awesome. I think that should be in 2K17, the Spear Degree. But this was a really good match. Rollins wins the title. Well, I mean, he retains the title because he ain't never lost it. So, he retains it, I guess technically you could say. And then I will let you get your thoughts, I guess, before we get to after the match.
All right, sorry. I had muted myself and I didn't realize I didn't want to start talking and be like, so I was like, let me not do that again. But yeah, I thought the match was good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was, really personal, and I think that, that's what makes a lot of these WWE World Title matches for me, really good. Especially like just World Title pictures in general, because they always seem to have really good feuds. It seems like, and I really liked this feud because it made a lot of sense. It had a lot of realism to it. So I really liked this feud. I the Spear Degree, that was amazing. I was like, oh my god, that was like so freaking cool. It's gonna take me a little while to watch Rollins in the ring again though, because I always get like every time I see somebody that had like a knee injury or something, I always get a little scared. Just watching them do the spots that they used to do. Just because it's kind of a touchy thing, a tender thing, I guess, for them. And the sunset flip thing, was one of those things. Like, I was surprised they played around with it like that, but to a certain degree, it is a move that you do all the time. So I feel like they kind of had to let him, test it out a little bit. And I was hoping that nothing terrible happened. But I enjoyed the match. I think Reigns, Reigns for what he is does good. Because to me, number one, he's still in a tag team gimmick. You can't do with so much in a tag team gimmick. I've said it so many times, and y'all won't listen to me. When Reigns talks in the ring, my goodness, I love that man. I love that man from a storytelling aspect, because when he talks to his opponent, like, I can really get behind it. Because to me, and this is my personal opinion, Reigns is doing all he can do with the character he is given. Am I wrong? Please tell me I'm wrong. Because Roman Reigns as a character is what? What have we been told about Roman Reigns as a character? Okay, he's that big tough guy from the Shield. He sounds tough, does a pretty good job of sounding tough to me. He wrestles tough. He's a hard-hitting guy. And he talks to you in the ring. So, he's a little cocky. The tough guy from every group is supposed to be a little cocky. To me, I think Roman Reigns has done pretty good with this. He did end up losing. I was kind of upset. I was starting to really like Reigns. I liked him all along. I think the hatred for Reigns is ridiculous, really stupid. Because let's give the man a character and then let's try again. Like let's give him a character and then let's go cry about how bad his character is. That's all I'm saying. Don't give him something from NXT, where he comes out as a jobber and I'm supposed to believe that he's really good. Like, no. But anyway, I thought the match was good. Rollins wins with 2 pedigrees. I liked it. Yeah. So what do you want to say to me? I'm going to defend this man. We'll stay on here all night talking about this subject.
You talking about how he sounds tough. I mean, you could sound tough all you want. And then
Is that a part of the character? Wait. Isn't that's a piece of the character, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying his promos are perfect, but he's just the tough guy from the Shield. There's no you can only say but so much to be like, oh yeah, I'm tough. Like,
okay, but then you like, oh, and he hits hard and he hits tough. You see that man go up against Shinsuke Nakamura, and we'll see who hits hard. Yeah.
But Shinsuke Nakamura wrestles a different style than Roman Reigns does. I mean,
you send that man to Japan, and we'll see who hits hard.
But like in my opinion, given what he's been given, he's doing pretty well at it. Like, he's been given far less than Rollins has, and far less than Ambrose has from a character standpoint. From a character standpoint, he's been given far less than both of those men.
I mean, if he's that good, he should be able to take. He should be, hey, Vince, give me a better character. He should, yeah. I guess he's not that good.
Anyway, I'll let you talk about the aftermath because I know you were probably, what do they say? What do these young cats say around here? Marking out.
I think that's what the youngsters of the internet wrestling community say, that they
them
say,
young whippersnappers.
Them damn whippersnappers on their Twitters and their Instagrams. But after the match, Rollins obviously wins and retains his title. Oh God. Why did it go black?
What just happened?
What?
I don't know. That was weird.
I can't. Do you have the other background there too? Because I see the New Japan, and I see,
maybe that might have been what it was. I don't know. Anyway,
broke it. But anyway, he wins the title, and then Ambrose music hits. He comes out. Well, we think he's coming from the entranceway, but nope. He comes from behind, hits Rollins with the briefcase, because that poor briefcase just gets destroyed. Come on now. Come on. He cashes it in, and I was waiting. He delivers Dirty Deeds. I was waiting for the kick out and, Rollins to come back, because I was like, just knowing WWE's track record, I didn't think that they would get behind Ambrose enough to actually give him the title. So I was like, oh, he's going to cash in already and he's going to lose it. And then he won. And as the young kids say, I marked out. It was one of those points. I don't want to bring up a horrible memory, but it was almost the Undertaker reaction where you're like, did that just happen? Like, what? So it almost feels weird to say your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Dean Ambrose, who, by the way, has the same birthday as me, so I feel like I am also your WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So you can call me Champ. You can call me Big Guy. You can call me Sir. So I'll take any of those names, but I deserve the respect that I've earned by winning the World Heavyweight Championship. Just saying. DJ, thoughts on me winning the World Heavyweight Championship?
Okay, then I guess. I guess you're the new. But yeah, I was like, what? Because I know they've been teasing the Shield thing pretty hard, especially last week or the week they had the Ambrose Asylum. I'm not sure if that was last week or the week before that. But they was teasing that pretty hard. So I kind of expected it to happen. I don't know if I expected it to happen tonight. For some reason, I just thought he may have waited a little bit. But I guess we don't have to deal with the whole Money in the Bank. He's gonna cash in. He's gonna cash in thing the whole year, so that'll be kind of cool. Um, but I'm wondering what's gonna happen now. Because obviously this it's an interesting scenario. Because finally Ambrose does get the win. It took like forever. And I was even expecting like something to happen. Like I was expecting like you know Rollins to kick out or Reigns to come back in and spear him or inadvertently or something, and then Rollins still get the win. Or I was expecting something to happen just because I felt like this Ambrose thing has been going on for too long. They were rubbing me the wrong way with it. And I'm a big fan of him, but I'm not like the hugest fan of him. So like they were even rubbing me the wrong way with this. But I, you know, I definitely think it's interesting. This is the first time in good gravy. It's been a while. It's just in my opinion. It seems like it's been a while since we had a face champion in WWE. Um, who was the champion before Rollins? It was Lesnar. He's still technically a heel, right? Like a true face, like a true he doesn't get booed as a face. He doesn't get weird chants as a face. Like it's gonna be interesting to see. Interesting to see how long they're gonna go with this. Because I am curious because the lunatic characters to me don't get a lot of love in WWE. If you think about it, just because the lunatic character, if you think about it with Mick Foley, he got like one kind of title run, right? Like that was about it. So like I don't know if they're gonna do something in the middle of this title run and like change him up a little bit, or if they're gonna kind of keep him the same, or something. Like I feel like something's gonna happen, but I don't know what it's gonna be. But I'm excited to see what they're gonna go because obviously you got Rollins who gets his like rematch. We also I feel like we might get the Shield triple threat at SummerSlam maybe and somehow some way because they have been trying to. I think they've been trying to get that, but they just haven't been able to with the injuries and whatnot. So I'm thinking we may get that at some point. But I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with Ambrose. It's gonna be interesting to hear his music come out and see him with the title for once. Because he did win the title for like 3 seconds or something one time or something like that, right? Like did he like win the title for like two minutes or something? So it's gonna be interesting to really see where they go with this because I'm excited to see Ambrose. I feel like it's kind of overdue. But I think it'll be, which is kind of WWE in a nutshell. But I want to see how it's gonna go.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably going to build up to the Shield triple threat just because, for example, if I was Roman Reigns, I would still technically want to, I would say that I would still deserve a rematch because I lost, but the person I lost to lost also, so it's kind of a double rematch, I guess, which would make it a triple threat. I feel like that's something that they've never really done before, though, because we've had times where guys have, won the World Heavyweight title or whatever, or the WWE Championship back when they had the brand split, and then somebody would cash in the same night. It's kind of, you never really.
Yeah, I think it was Kane. Kane who did that. I don't know what they did with that.
Yeah, that's kind of something I've never really thought of until now, because you would technically still have a double, I guess, rematch clause, I guess.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious. It's gonna be weird not seeing someone like hold that briefcase for like a year. And I'm wondering like, is that like something they factored in with the brand split too? Not having him, because like if they bring back two titles, for example, that kind of confuse. You can cash in on either one of them, or what's going to happen with that. I'm kind of curious with that too. But I definitely I thought the end of the show was a lot better than the beginning to me. I think the last couple of matches were actually pretty good. The Rusev Titus was kind of the dud, I guess, of the back half of the card. But I'm excited to kind of see what's going to go down. In the next coming weeks. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Again, it was an okay show. I felt like they could have done a lot better, especially for. I feel like we talk about how they have all these gimmick pay-per-views, but I feel like it's not one of the big four, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble. But I feel like out of the other kind of gimmicky pay-per-views, I feel like Money in the Bank is one of the higher ranked ones, I guess you would feel like. So I would think they would try to do a better show than they did, and more title defenses, like with the women.
I think this was like the dud for like pay-per-views this year so far.
Yeah,
because they haven't been bad at all as far as like WWE is concerned.
And I don't know why they didn't have, unless the Miz is hurt, but I haven't heard anything. I don't know why they didn't have anything with the Intercontinental title.
Is he seriously like is he seriously like filming the Marine 4? Like is that like because I know it's a real movie, but like is that like the real reason? I don't know if that's like, and I don't know if that's like a thing, like they're trying to bring importance to the title, so they take it off for a week, so you're like, oh, I missed it this week, I don't know. They try to do that, but it doesn't work. They don't do it right. To me, like when you take a title off, the pay-per-view, you're supposed to kind of care about it a little bit. And I love the Intercontinental title. I think it's much better than the U.S. title in my opinion. But I'm just because we definitely noticed the Divas title wasn't on. Sorry, Charlotte. The women's title wasn't on the line tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think it was a horrible show. I wouldn't say it was a complete dud. I would just say there was a lot of duds in it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say the whole show was a dud. Just there was a bunch of matches that could have been booked better or replaced with better matches.
Yeah, I definitely. I definitely agree. See if I can pull up all of our information for you guys. There you go. There's all of our information. If you need to follow us on Twitter or whatnot, because the review is pretty much over. I think Raw should be pretty interesting tomorrow to see how Ambrose, the asylum and all that, how that plays out. I think Jericho deserves a shot at the title. I think he beat him a couple times, right? Drink it in, man. Drink it in. But yeah, I'm definitely expecting some nice things. Coming up this week on the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast. That podcast is always an instant classic and all that stuff. Coming up this week, I think it's actually cutting off the words a little bit. I'll have to fix that a little bit later. But coming up this week, we got Six Pack tomorrow. Our weekly top 6 countdown. It's not. Is this the last Tuesday of the month? Am I wrong? Might be a little wrong here. Check my calendar real quick. No, we got one more. We got one more Monday. So we gotta come up with an idea. Maybe top 6 cash-ins would make sense a little bit. Maybe something else. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out and we'll let you know on Twitter maybe beforehand, or we probably won't. But be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Follow us on all our Twitters, especially the one in red, because that's the most important one. We also have a Snapchat account. I had very much a lot of fun. That's not a real thing. Very much a lot of fun trolling people at this indie show I went to. this weekend. So I think we're gonna use this for trolling purposes. Maybe some serious purposes every once in a while, but like for the most part, trolling wrestlers. ICW_podcast on Snapchat. We're gonna do it. I probably will do it. I don't know, Casey, but also, obviously we got TNA, NXT, all those coming up. That's about it though. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave us a comment and be like, I enjoyed it. Shout out to Low Key though. I see you around a lot on this channel and I appreciate it. Shout out to Low Key. He says this show was crap. He said it was garbage. He says this show was crap. TNA Slammiversary was better, and I tend to agree. Because TNA Slammiversary was more consistent to me. Even the matches that weren't like match of the match of the show candidates were still good, in my personal opinion.
We possibly have a Ring of Honor pay-per-view coming up. Maybe, possibly.
That is true. I haven't watched Ring of Honor in like years, but I will watch the pay-per-view, perhaps.
Is Jay Briscoe versus Jay Lethal 2. That's all you need to know.
Is my boy Jay Briscoe gonna man up and he gonna get this title. He gonna get this title. I'm excited.
And then Mark Briscoe get a shot at the TV title. Yeah.
But anyway, we don't want to keep you up too much with the Ring of Honor stuff because we don't want to stick that bait out there and then it not happen. But
we're gonna try.
I hope you guys enjoyed though. I hope you guys enjoyed. I do. If you haven't already, give us a like, give us give us a subscribe. Be sure to subscribe for my, talking abilities, and follow us on Twitter. Everything's there. We'll see you guys later. This was the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic. Peace.